Hello and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's all kinds of family. We chose this one. This is episode 320, The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, Lap 13. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too, and this episode is brought to you by X Japan. X Japan is one of the most successful rock groups in Japanese history, led by composer, drummer, and pianist Yoshiki. Shout out to X Japan.
Well, shout out to X Japan and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. With us today talking about Tokyo Drift. He was just on an episode of 1999, the podcast, not too long ago. We're counting his time meeting Dennis Rodman, so go listen to that episode if you want to hear that story. But he's also a director of note, a friend I made at a film festival. We have with us today Matt Stuertz. Hello, Matt.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good.
Not bad. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty stoked to talk some Tokyo Drift.
I'm excited to hear you talk about Tokyo Drift.
I've talked about all sorts of movies with you over the years. I've seen movies with you. We've watched movies together. You know,
yeah.
we've had movies stop on us together at the same time as people passed out in other theaters. But like, I don't really know what your history is with these movies, and I don't want to assume that you hate them all, but I also think you might hate them all. But like, what is your history with the Fast and Furious? Where did you come to them? When did you see this one for the first time? What's your overall vibe? Before we get to the rankings, like, what's your overall vibe with the franchise?
So, it's a fair assumption that I would hate all of them, but I actually don't.
Good.
But
all right.
Yeah, I saw the OG Fast and Furious just like randomly, like exactly when it came out, but I think I had never seen a trailer. I like had no idea what it was basically. Okay. I was like not really into cars or anything, so if I had seen a trailer, I'd been like, "Fuck this movie, I don't care." But I
you saw it in theaters.
I saw it in theaters, yeah, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But then I just didn't see any of the sequels until Fast 5. And then Fast 5 I thought was like a really good time. So I think then I saw 6 after that, kind of hated 6, and then went back and rewatched 1 through 6. And after that rewatch of like all of them back to back, I was like, no, 6 is awesome.
Okay, cool.
Like knowing things about the other movies. And then I think since 6, I've seen everything sort of right as it came out. Whether or not I'm like, this movie is going to be terrible or I'm actually excited for it, I still will go see it.
This is so much more of a positive outlook than I thought, because Joe, like, the history is like, it's not like you and I have different tastes in movies, but like,
obviously, yeah.
But it's me and Matt are different in that like there's certain movies where like, I mean, he's very into genre, like we met at Fantastic Fest, but like things that I like think are absolute dog shit. He's just like, this movie rules.
Like,
and then things that I think are great,
like Simon says.
Yes, like Simon says. And then things that I think are great are just like, this is awful. And like, I think you would be like, yeah, that's good, just not something that I would like. Matt's just like, no, that's trash. And so I really didn't know where he was going to fall on this. So this is pretty good news. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
So you saw this movie for the first time in that rewatch when you were re-catching up to 6.
It was probably in like the lead up to part 7 or something like that. So whenever that time period was when I finally saw all of the movies up to that. One a day, just watched them all.
So you had seen the credit scene where Deckard kills Han before you saw Han actually die in Tokyo Drift. Like you saw like
so
the retcons.
I had sort of I think I'd seen a little bit of Tokyo Drift like on TV or something, but I had never seen like the entire movie front to back.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely saw that credit stinger before I like really saw the whole movie.
So with that said, so you've seen all of them, including like Hobbs and Shaw and the new one, Fast 10. Like you've seen all 11 of them.
Awesome.
Can you please hit us with your rankings, either favorite to least favorite or least favorite up, like whichever way you want to go to build suspense, either top down or bottom up. Hit us one way or the other.
Yeah, let's go worst to best.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off with Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
And this for me is in the category of I hate this movie. And I'll let you know when it gets into the point of like, no, I actually like these movies now. I don't know. Hobbs and Shaw I saw once. I found it to be an abomination of a bad time. F9 or whatever. I'm not sure.
F9, yep.
Okay, F9.
I can't believe you don't know verbatim all the titles of all these movies that are so consistent and make so much sense.
I mean, there's definitely a few, right, where it's just like advertised as like Furious whatever, and then the title card on the movie is like something totally different, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
F9 is
Remember-
the biggest culprit of this too, because it was like
Okay.
our tickets said one thing, the screen said another, and Vin kept calling it a third different thing while we were like,
We're like,
waiting
is
for
it
the movie.
called the Fast Saga? Because he keeps calling it the Fast Saga, but they're like, no, that's just like what he's calling all the movies. But he had never said that before. Just like,
It was just for a 9.
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah, and not for 10, because that was Fast X.
I don't know why they have to go so confusing with these titles. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. It's their it's but yeah, F9, I'll put that as my second least favorite. But I don't necessarily hate it so much like I hate Hobbs and Shaw, but I don't consider it to be a good movie. Then after that, we have The Fate of the Furious, which
Okay.
honestly, this one maybe have moved around a bit. I just don't remember anything that happened in this movie, so I just kind of threw it in right here. I know there was like the submarine or something, right? And they're like on the ice.
Yeah.
Is that's
Yeah, and
this one?
Cypher and the baby on the plane.
And it's Dom against the family. Like, he's just like, I have to turn against the people I love to find other people that I love even more, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have Furious 7.
Okay.
This one I was very stoked for. Kind of didn't like it at all. I'm sure if Paul Walker hadn't have died, this would be a very different place on the list for me. So that's obviously.
What do you think of Paul Walker overall? Are you like into, because we're probably not going to talk about him that much because he's not in this movie, obviously. But like, what do you think of Paul Walker?
To me, the Fast movies work when it's Vin Diesel and Paul Walker.
Okay.
But, I mean, I do like Tokyo Drift also, but I don't know. There's like something about just Diesel by himself that just doesn't do it for me. Like I need, like they're so different that I need both of them in the movie to like get that yin yang.
And The
feel
Rock
to,
is
like-
just like another version of Vin Diesel in his own way. So
pretty much, yeah. So let's see. After that, I have Fast and Furious, which yeah, I think is kind of just the weakest of the Justin Lin ones.
okay.
I didn't hate that one. I thought it was like a little bit boring. I don't know, they kind of went like a little more grounded on that one, I guess, after
Yeah.
Tokyo Drift, which I was not the biggest fan of. And then after that, I have Fast X, where this like sort of hits the line of part of Fast X I thought was awesome, and then part of it I thought was just total trash.
What's the parts? Give me an example of each, please.
Basically, anything that had Vin Diesel acting was total trash.
Okay.
And then once they got to like the just ridiculously terrible CGI ending sequences, I was like, this is fucking so fun to watch. So like the stupider that movie was, the more I liked it. I also loved Momoa in that movie.
Yeah.
Anytime he was on screen, I was having a great time. And I don't know, him just like it felt a little bit weird to me that it would even be allowed by Vin Diesel for Momoa to be like that, because he's basically just like shitting on everyone in those movies in the most fun way, which seemed like Diesel would be like, no, you can't make fun of me like that.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but like after the movie came out, there were rumors, and we don't know if they're sure or not, that Vin Diesel did not like that he was getting so much praise for his performance.
got
I guess
showed
it's just
up
like,
by
"Oh, do your
Momoa."
thing, and then he's just like, hold
Oh,
on. a
that's
minute.
funny.
Like I didn't think people were gonna love this.
I
the way
mean,
they
these are
did.
just rumors. We don't know if they're factual or not. It's not like anybody said anything, but it wouldn't be beyond belief, right? So
That's like kind of totally how I felt while watching it, because he upstages Vin Diesel, I think, in that movie in every possible way. But yeah, I love Momoa. I was pretty stoked for the part 2 or whatever, or part 2 and 3 if that happens.
yeah.
Of that, just for more Momoa, basically. But yeah, that's like sort of the in-between one, and then it gets to like I like all the rest of the movies, and so I'm gonna put Tokyo Drift as the next one.
Okay.
I will say I think it went down a little bit from how I remembered it, but it still was a really, really great time. Fucking what's his face, the lead guy is just kind of terrible.
Lucas Black.
Lucas Black is just not too good. But
I
everyone
have
else in
more
the movie
thoughts
is
on
kinda
Lucas
awesome.
Black this time, Joey. I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I think, I mean, aren't very new thoughts, but are newer thoughts.
But yeah, Han, of course, amazing in that movie, and so even like Bow Wow is kind of fun in it, and Sonny Chiba for like the 2 seconds that he's in the movie is great.
Is awesome, yeah.
Then I have the Fast and the Furious, the OG, which I think is solid. I feel like that one's like probably the most different to me from any of the movies, but
Really?
still, I feel like holds up. I don't know. I feel like that it like feels like a different kind of movie than most of the rest of them to me.
Okay.
Still not really realistic, but it's just like I don't know. It doesn't feel to me at least, it just doesn't feel like the same kind of movie as the rest. But then after that, I have Too Fast, Too Furious, which I love.
Shockingly high compared to most people, but it
Oh
also
yeah,
feels kind of on brand for you.
it's yeah, Too Fast, Too Furious. I mean, just for the fact that you get every possible iteration of bro, bruh, bruh said in that movie is like it's kind of a masterpiece. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like their chemistry in that movie is awesome and something that was sorely missing in the newer movies without Paul Walker. And then after that, I've got Fast and Furious 6, and the top one is kind of like the boring choice, but Fast 5.
Right.
No,
Well, that's the right answer.
It's a good
right.
answer.
Yeah, it's just like I will Fast 5 to me, there is maybe like 10 minutes in my mind that you could cut out and it would be a perfect movie, but it's like as close to a perfect Fast and Furious movie as you can get.
Can you tell me what the 10 minutes is off the top of your head, or no? It's okay if not.
It's been a while since I watched it. I know it's like basically the exact middle section of the movie, 10 minutes right there, where it kind of like lulls into action a little bit.
Okay.
I don't remember specifically what happens. I just remember last time I watched it thinking like, all right, it gets a little slow here, but then every other part of this movie is awesome.
Fair. Yeah, that's cool.
Because there is something like I know that you don't love. Like we talk about it a lot, especially. I think of it more because we watch these in chronological order. So we just did 6, and now we're doing 3. And I think it always happens in Tokyo Drift that you really notice how much shorter this one is. Because like even though 5 and 6, like both, I mean, we love them all, but like 5 and 6, like kind of justify their length with the action. Like everything from there on out is like 2:15 or longer.
It feels
and
shorter.
Like an hour 40 is just like, boy.
Tokyo Drift being an hour 40. I loved. Yeah, that even when I just looked at the runtime, I was like, yes.
So I get like I agree that I mean most people who give us rankings have Fast 5 as number 1, but like it being 210, like it's a solid 210. But I could also like if that was somehow like an hour 50, be like and like still like didn't lose anything, be like unbelievable.
I don't know what has happened just in movies in general, and Fast and Furious is part of it too, but like the last like 10 years or so, it's like movies are just so fucking long. And
yes.
I don't know what, like with not really justifying their length. Like I love a great like 3-hour movie if it's like awesome all the way through, but there's just so much shit where it's like you could easily cut out so many of these scenes and you'd lose almost nothing.
We agree bigly.
Especially for a movie called Fast and Furious. Like keep the pace Fast and Furious. Like you should not ever be boring in a Fast and Furious movie.
I don't know that we've ever really talked about it like with this angle, but I think it's something that you see a lot in TV shows where like the longer a TV show goes on, the like this character has no reason to be around anymore, but we need to keep them around because the characters love him, or you know, especially like Showtime was guilty of that. Like when Weeds went on for 8 or 9 years, Dexter went on for 8 or 9 years, like Ted Lasso. Like I don't need to see like Keely starting her own business. Like I don't give a shit. Like that's not about the soccer team. You know what I mean? So like I think with the movies, there's the same kind of thing we've talked about this broadly. I've never really compared it to TV, but like, well, we can't get rid of Roman and Tej, even though Tej is kind of replaced by Ramsey, and like Roman never really has a purpose, but like we love the characters, they have to keep them around, so like they keep adding characters to like bring people in. They can't
and it's
not have scenes from it. Just but the same thing with like Marvel movies, like it's frustrating though. It's not good storytelling. It's just like it's the economics of it.
Someone really for all of those shows and even these movies just needs to come in and be like, you know what? Fuck you guys.
The executioner.
We're killing off. Exactly. Just we're killing off the side characters. I don't care that you love them. You know, we'll give them a sweet like opening scene where they all die. And then just like there's especially in Fast X, there so many of the scenes with the side character like, and they're great in other movies, but like the scene that they had with fucking what's his face from
Pete
SNL.
Davidson. Yep, I knew you were going to say this.
Like,
go ahead.
So
the worst scene in the movie.
It was so bad. And like, no, it's like none of them wanted to be there either. Like they're just like, they just looked soulless.
Yeah.
We've only talked like 10, like, you know, that's still relatively new. We haven't talked like a ton of people about that, but like Joe, I don't think we've had a single person who's like, I love that scene. Everybody's just like,
the Pete Davidson cameo was my favorite part of Fast X.
Yeah.
No one. Everybody's just like, why do we have this? Like, it feels like they started shooting it and they were like, well, we can't go back now. And then they just like left it in, right? Like that's what it always felt like. For a while, Matt, we were trying to figure out why Tyrese does the powder thing.
Yeah.
At the end, he does like the LeBron like powder spray. No idea. And it came out that Leterrier's like he was just really into doing the powder thing.
just
So
wanted
like,
to do it.
yeah, we're like,
He's just
okay,
like-
I guess, sure.
So now, Matt, before we talk about this movie, there's a couple questions. Like, we used to have, like, all these either or, like, are you more Brian or Dom? We kind of got rid of all of those because we
Okay.
really want to drill down to the important things that matters. Like, there are a handful of things that have been mentioned in these movies that we cannot suss out. We cannot figure out the answers. We don't know what they mean. And we're asking everyone we can a couple different questions. You're going to think these have nothing to do with the Fast and Furious. That's where you're wrong. They have
Spoiler
everything to do with
alert,
the Fast and
they
Furious.
do.
All right. I'm curious.
First question for you. In the first movie, one of your favorite movies in the franchise, you have it ranked as number 4.
Yes.
If you'll remember, after the barbecue, Mia and Brian are doing dishes. Vince comes in all drunk and starts harassing him. And then she asks him the name of the restaurant. And then she's like, Brian, you can take me there. The way that she describes this to get the name of it from Vince, she says, it's that Cuban restaurant. It's got the wood tables, the little red candles, the picadillo, the food all over the place. You know, what's the name of it? And he goes, cha-cha-cha. So now, Matt, we say, Matt, this is such a blast. Next time you're in New York, we're going to take you to this restaurant. You know, it's got the wood tables, the picadillo, the red candles. But when we describe a restaurant as having food all over the place, what do you picture? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Are you excited? Are you terrified? What does that mean to you?
I mean, it sounds kind of like a pretty divey, shitty restaurant that I would be down to go to. I
Okay.
wouldn't hate on it, but it wouldn't be like a fancy place for sure.
I like the divey aspect. I don't think we've ever gotten like that specific word for it,
Yeah.
Joey, and that's that. I can see that too. Yeah.
It's like a dive bar that serves food or something.
So it's not like it doesn't connote like quality or like whatever, but you're like,
No, not at all.
I'm down to see what this is because
Like the table's gonna be sticky. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah. And
like-
I like that kind of place, so I'd be
Same.
down to go. But yeah.
We go to Furious 7, which I know you like a little bit less, but if you'll remember, they're in Abu Dhabi. They go up that like very tall skyscraper, and there's
Yeah.
the party up there where they're trying to steal the thing from the car, and Brian and Dom leave Roman to distract the room singing a song. So we're like, Matt, we're gonna steal something from this building. We need you to shine bright like only Matt Stuertz can. We need you to sing a song a cappella style that's either so good it's captivating or so bad it's a train wreck in slow motion. What song are you singing? What are you confident enough in your abilities, good or bad, to distract a room full of strangers so that Joe and I can steal some shit?
I'm probably going Happy Birthday, which I consider to be an abomination of a song and
Okay.
my least favorite song of all time.
That's very Roman of you, because he does do the happy birthday thing, right? That's
Yeah.
his thing. Yeah, that works.
So you're saying that you hate the song Happy Birthday?
I do.
You
I fucking hate the song Happy Birthday, but it's one that if you sing it, people are like, okay, whose birthday is it? So it's like has
It's
like
very
a double-
distracting. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you think of like fast food or like fast casual chains like that TGI Fridays that like couldn't sing because Patty and Mildred Hill would not allow people to sing their song without paying the royalty? So like Fridays goes like
Happy
or like, whatever,
birthday.
like,
Yeah, they
happy
do
birthday,
that,
yeah.
birthday,
Yeah.
birthday to you. Like, do you like those remixes?
Any of
or are
those
you
are
against it in
any of
general?
those are so much better than the real one.
Really?
They're still terrible, but I don't hate them as much. I don't know. There's something about the real Happy Birthday song that it's just awful.
I've never really thought about this, but I feel like for a song that everyone knows, the fact that people fuck up the customize your name line so often, it's just like
They get
Yeah.
there and
How
it's
are
like
we
they've
this-
never done it before every single
how are we
time.
this bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear Matt, or people like Maddie or whatever. Just like,
Yeah.
just let's pick something. We got to have a better consensus as people. In that same movie, number 7, Furious 7,
Yes.
Brian is they're all around the table. They're talking about the plan, and Roman says he's like basically it's the scene where like he's summing up like what they've done in past
And
movies.
he wants to
The
be a
first
leader.
movie. He's like I shot that shit out the sky of a bow. Like we talked about the big plane they took down in 6, and Brian says to him, "The only thing I've seen you take down is no knees Denise at prom." So if you hear, and Roman gets pissed off about that. So if you hear a person, male or female, or non-binary, if you hear a person described as having no knees Denise, no knees Matt, whatever, what does that, what do you think of when you hear that phrase?
No, I don't know. No knees is a weird one because sounds like someone that just would never suck a dick, maybe.
See, we've gotten
Because
both sides
they
of
can't get
this.
down on their knees. Yeah, I don't know, but it's like confusing. I would probably be like, what the fuck do you even mean by no knees? Yeah, it's that one's kind of a mystery to me.
He's pissed off about it, but it's so
Well,
specifically weird.
so if that was the meaning of like she is not getting down on her knees, but you still took her down, so it was like really an accomplishment. So it's like this never
It doesn't
happens.
seem like
But
he's
He's
nagging
upset
him
about
about
it.
it. Yeah.
in that case, I have no
Because I
idea.
think like this and the food all over, like they're kind of opposite questions. Like food all over is very specific, but like it could mean anything. This is like so specific, but could mean nothing. I think like they're opposite questions where we don't have
Yeah,
answers to either.
I wonder is that just like someone just did an improv line and they didn't even know what it meant?
I think so. I definitely think food all over the place is that, but I don't. I think that this was that too. I agree.
And they're just like, you know, it sounds no knees, Denise. It flows. Let's just keep it in.
It might have been just Paul Walker just saying things. Who knows? Matt, do you have a favorite character in these movies? One that either is in every movie or only a few movies or one movie?
Probably Brian for me.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Paul Walker's just so likable.
This is kind of blowing my mind that you like Paul Walker but I appreciate it.
I don't know. Yeah, he kind of goes like because he's like a nice guy, so he kind of goes against my usual character that I would like of just like a dickhead.
Oh,
But
okay.
I don't know. There's like something about him that's like he just feels so much more like wholesome than everyone else in the movies, and that's like makes him stand out. Yeah, I guess so. To me, Paul Walker has the charisma that Vin Diesel thinks that he has. That's how I would phrase it.
Interesting.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
So this lap, our 13th time through, like all of our laps have a different theme. This time it's just the planes, trains, but no automobiles lap. So Joe and I, as we're watching all these movies, both the Fast and Furious and other ones, we're just making notes of the non-cars that we see in this. But to kick off our
Okay.
conversation about Tokyo Drift, we've got two questions for you about vehicles in general. Number one, my question for you, do you have a favorite movie that either is about a vehicle that's not a car or like has a cool chase scene that doesn't have a car, like anything, like a movie that you love that has something cool in it that's not a car but is a vehicle?
I don't know that this is my favorite, but GoldenEye, the tank scene's pretty one
oh,
of the
cool.
greatest scenes of all time, I
Yeah.
would say. I did a rewatch of that like a year ago, and it was like this movie is still perfect. So that's definitely up there in terms of like non-car vehicle scenes. And I feel like there's probably something with like jet skis, but I can't think of what movie exactly that would be.
I mean, there's lots of movies with jet
There's
skis. Our
lots,
friend
yeah.
Mark Hoffmeyer
Where's
loves
Mark
jet ski
Hoffmeyer when we
movies.
need him?
Meg 2 has a jet ski scene in it. I don't think that's
Yeah.
maybe your
Meg
favorite.
2 was an abomination.
What other jet ski movies are there?
I mean, I think there's probably even a James Bond one where he's on a jet ski too. But
Oh,
yeah,
probably.
there's definitely a lot. But yeah, I'll stick with the tank scene from GoldenEye.
Okay, sticking on the theme of things that are not cars, what is the like the most memorable, craziest, most fun thing that you have driven or ridden in that was not a car?
For me, definitely a jet ski.
Cool.
I had an experience with one, and I actually haven't. I don't think I've ridden one since, but it was like over 10 years ago on a lake in Missouri where I was basically out on a jet ski for like 4 or 5 hours
Okay.
because I was sort of just maniacally like going around. And like the great thing about a jet ski is it's there's like little to no danger of dying. So it's like you're going like 40 miles an hour and then you just flip everyone off of it and it's fun. But then you do that enough times and you just kind of completely forget where you came from. And then with no cell phone on you and not really knowing anything about the area, you get lost. So yeah, I got lost on a huge lake out there, ran out of gas. It was like raining. I almost sunk the jet ski. It was like it started like how it should be, and then it was like the front was just like sinking into the water. I had to like flag down some random guy at his house to give me some more gas. But all in all, it was a really fun time.
That sounds awesome.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, that's a wild time. I like it.
It was yeah. Everyone was very concerned that I didn't come back for like 4+ hours.
So now let's talk about the movie. Favorite moments, least favorite moments. You said you liked it a little bit less this time around. What didn't work for you? What still worked for you? Anywhere you want to begin. Tokyo Drift, take it away.
Favorite moments for sure is just everything with Han, I would say.
Yeah.
Although it feels weird a bit with him having this movie take place after the previous movies. Just in that it's like, Han, why are you going to Tokyo and doing this basic shit?
Right.
Yes.
But it's still fun in the context of the movie. It's just like the continuity is weird. Although I am glad that they brought him back because he's awesome. Everything with the villainous like kid character, I can't remember his name.
Sean,
That stuff
Lucas Black, or
DK.
DK.
Oh yeah, DK. Everything with Lucas Black and DK I found to be pretty hilarious because there's so much stuff where it's like DK is coming up to him like a good like 5 inches shorter than him, and it's just like, yo, kid. And it's like Lucas Black looks like he's like 40.
Yes.
So it's just, and he's way bigger than him. So it's just feels hilarious. There's this like weird disconnect the whole movie of like everyone calling Lucas Black a kid, but he's like big and looks
Well, there
old.
is the line that I'm sure we've talked about before because I'm pretty sure we talked about most of this. But like when Sean shows up to Han's garage and they're having the party,
I
with all the models that
I
don't
wanted to
have
bring
anyone
this
date,
up.
Yeah.
Yep, go ahead.
and either about no, I think
No,
Han
Han says, yeah.
hands off, ladies. He's underage. It's like, no, he's not.
He's certainly
He's never
not
been underage.
underage. Yeah. I actually wrote down a couple of notes for that too, where there's some line where someone's saying like it's done and all before your 18th birthday.
Yep,
I'm
the
like,
cop,
that line
yep.
should have been it's done and all before your 40th birthday. There's I think also the cop you're lucky if they don't try him as an adult, which is hilarious just seeing him there.
Yeah. Like I wonder, and like I know that it's a high school movie, and like it makes sense to include these kind of lines, but I wonder if they added more after they cast him. Just like we know what he looks like. Like I don't like we I know that there's like split opinions on him. I think Joe and I both like him in this movie, but like he doesn't look like a high schooler. Like,
No,
we're not, like,
absolutely
this is not,
not.
believable. But like I don't know.
So I have to admit something, that I had to do something. Bear with me because it's gonna sound weird for like 2
You put
minutes.
subtitles on?
No.
Oh.
I was watching the scene where you guys just brought up that Han is like, "Watch out, ladies, he's underage," and I was like, "What is the age of consent in Japan?" Because they're in Japan.
Oh.
Do you know what
man.
it is?
It's probably really it's like 14 or something.
13. So he's saying that
Oh my
that,
God.
that Lucas Black is under 13 at the time, which makes it even more hysterical to me. Because they're in Japan. It's not like they're in America, right? Like, so
Yeah.
he has to use those demographics. Like, it would be totally fine for them to hook up with him unless he was 12. That's the
Oh
rules.
yeah. He also easily looks twice as old as every girl that's at that party.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me laugh. I just had to think about it this time. So he's very, very old. The
That's
under
awesome.
18 thing. So we've established that Lucas Black in this movie is at least he's like 17 because he
I
doesn't
think,
even
I
have a
think
birthday party.
he's supposed to be 17, yeah.
Yeah, wild.
The dad I feel is really weird in this movie in that he's like the most emotionless actor that I have like ever seen in anything. He's just like blank face the entire movie, which is an interesting choice. Like it's like does kind of fit, but it's just weird. Even when he like comes up with the gun later on, it's like don't do that. He still is just like
Emotionless.
why did you wake me up right now? Like, yeah, he's pretty like I don't know if that's like the direction he was given or he just was not having this movie, but that I thought was kind of interesting. I wish there was more Sonny Chiba.
Yeah.
And also the ending plot of them doing the race is like so even in the context of a Fast and Furious movie, I feel is so dumb. But it's pretty awesome, but it's just like why would he agree to this?
There's no reason to agree with it. Like
Yeah.
it's like if I win this race, I'm gonna leave a place that no one wants me. If I lose, I'm gonna leave. If I win, you who have spent your entire life here, your family is here, everyone you know and love is here,
Your business
And
ostensibly.
your whole
business is
business, yeah.
you're gonna leave, and they're like, yeah, cool, sounds
Deal.
good. And like I know that they saw him race earlier in the movie, and it's kind of like the whole like, oh, I can beat this kid again or whatever.
Right.
Even though DK is like, I already did it, like why do I need to do it again? But still, it's like these don't feel equally weighted.
Not at all.
I feel like even in like a semi-realistic version of Tokyo Drift, right when he goes to talk with Sonny Chiba, someone just would have pulled a gun and just shot him, and that'd be the end of the movie right there. They
That'd
would
be
just
a pretty
dispose of the
awesome
body and
end.
no one would ever. It would be a pretty shocking. And then, yeah, you could bring in Vin Diesel to get some retribution for the next one or something.
I like that. That's interesting.
Although I do, when Sean and the crew return for 9, Dom never sees them, right? Like, it's like, we're good. We had our, like, there's the one scene in 7 where he goes to get Han's, quote-unquote, Han's body or whatever, right in the necklace. He's like, we're good. Like, I don't need to talk to this guy. Like, he's served his purpose. Like, I don't think he would get retribution for Sean. He'd just be like, sorry, kid.
That's true.
Sorry,
That's
man.
true.
Yeah, it's one step removed
Sorry,
from Dom.
child.
Yeah, because, like, yeah, Dom had never met...
Yeah, he doesn't really even know him. He's
Yeah.
he's like, you know my guy.
Which is weird that they send Tej, and who do they send? They said who in 9. Tej shows up and
Tej and Roman.
So Roman wouldn't have known them either, and neither does Tej. But it's like they're like at least buddies. It's weird.
Yeah, they're just I don't know. It does feel weird. I will say, even that scene where Vin Diesel shows up, Lucas Black seems older than Vin Diesel in that scene too.
Yeah, and Vin Diesel doesn't look like
Which
he's getting
I
any
found
younger
too.
in these movies.
Oh,
so.
no.
Oh, I do want to take a quick detour. The reason I didn't bring it up before, like, it wasn't top of mind because there aren't any, but we've also been doing this as the lap of crazy credits, Matt. I don't know if you know on IMDb, there is, for every movie, there's a thing called crazy credits, like by the trivia and by like the shooting locations, there's called crazy credits, which we're like, ooh, what is this? And it was originally intended for like movies like Airplane, where they put like Adolf Hitler as worst boy. It's like, these are crazy.
Right.
Like, look at these things. We're making note of this. But it became just people describing credits. Like, there's a credit scene. There's cars that drive through the credits or whatever. But this one, for the first time all lap, in terms of at least the main Fast and Furious movies, no crazy credits. So it wasn't top of mind because like there weren't. But it's just a bummer that like they couldn't even say, I don't know, that like Sonny Chiba's credited as JJ Sonny Chiba. Like, isn't that crazy? It's like, no, man, but like you could have tried, right? But there's
also,
nothing
Matt,
listed.
all of these posts get like 60 upvotes. Like, they're just wildly liked. Yeah, and we're like, well, why?
They're very liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
As opposed to like all the IMDb trivia where people will like spare no expense, be like, this sucks, I'm a thumbs down this. All
Everyone
the
loves
crazy
the
credits
crazy
are just
credits.
like,
Yeah, even though they're just descriptions of what the credits look like. They love
That's
them.
awesome. They could have even said I don't know. It's got the very era-defining rotating credits at the intro that are hilariously bad in kind of the best way.
Yeah, they feel like word art from like Microsoft
It,
Word.
yeah,
right?
it's like a PowerPoint presentation.
I was thinking about it, Joey, as I was watching it, and I know that we're still a long ways off, but these first 3 minutes of Tokyo Drift are gonna be fucking hell for the minute.
I need to, like, between now and when we start this minute by minute, I need to figure out how to describe girls' clothes in a better way than I can now, because there's so many women in like in the American scenes and like in the Japanese scenes.
It's so
they're
fast.
all like in distinct, specific. They're like that's the dress that they're wearing. That's the skirt. That's the top. Whatever.
Yep.
And like I'm gonna be like blue skirt, red shirt. Like it's just like I need more adjectives because like there are so many people and they're like we're all going
Pleated.
crazy here.
They spared no expense on the wardrobe for those.
I think that
scenes.
they just found maybe
they just brought their own clothes.
Well, I was gonna say maybe they brought their own clothes, but then I'm like they all are way too old for high school, so maybe they found like their little like siblings' clothes and were wearing those.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why, like, not that thing, but the same kind, like, the same scene, and I don't know why it, like, it didn't bother me this time, because I've just, like, come to accept that this is what this movie is, but, like, I never really thought about how much they sexualize the teenagers in the opening scene.
All of
Like,
them, pretty much.
When we meet Home Improvement's girlfriend, like, the wind blows her skirt up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, okay. And then to start the race, the other girl takes her bra off.
I
I'm
thought
like, I'm just
that's
like,
yep.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
all 17. And
That's
it's just
some
like,
weird high school. Well, and then she's just like, all right, how about you guys race and the winner gets to fuck me? It's
Pretty
just,
much.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird for high schoolers.
it's very weird. I mean, like, I think it's honestly probably normal maybe for high schoolers, but it's weird to like to depict high schoolers like that on film, right? It's just like,
I was
this doesn't feel.
But and
don't
it's
do
not
this.
like they're not like showing it. It's not like a Euphoria kind of way where they're showing them fucked up. They're just like, this is hot, right, audience?
Mhm.
Yes. But I think that, as I was thinking about this, and I'm like spiraling down this exact same mental pathway that you guys are, I'm thinking, did Justin Lin know that the audience, that the target demo for the first movie was 12-year-old boys, and at this point they're going to be 16? That's what I was thinking.
I'm sure, probably, yeah.
Or is it like the Wooderson from Dazed and Confused, where just like these movies get older, but the target demo stays the same age? It's just like, what does a 12-year-old boy want? Boobs, right?
A
It's just like,
16-year-old girl.
what I mean?
That's what he wants, and like that's what we got.
I also, in that opening section before they go to Japan, we have not watched this movie since in the era of Barbenheimer, but the cop says, "You see Ken and Barbie over there," and all I thought was,
He's
either
just Ken.
this Ken's job is football, or this Ken's job is hate. It's one or the other. You know what I mean? He's not exactly who I would call Ken, but we're all Ken. We're all Barbie. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's asshole Ken for sure. Do you know? There is something about that opening scene though that I love compared to the newer movies. Of like, it's something that really annoyed me about Fast X is when Vin Diesel is doing that driving sequence to stop the giant ball that's rolling. They have to make sure that no one gets injured that whole time. Which
yes, they specifically
so
say
annoying. Yeah, and it's just like old lady's about to get smashed. He stops it. It's like, no, just let that old lady get smashed. So I like that there's like collateral damage in these movies where it's like people's shit's getting like wrecked. And
yeah, Lucas Black is bleeding.
They've got no care for human life whatsoever, and I find that to be fun in a movie.
What about this, other than Lucas Black looking too old? Like, what about this doesn't work for you? Like, what this time around were you like, oh, I thought I liked this movie more than I did? But like, not that you don't like it, because it's still
I still liked it a lot.
Like, what didn't hit this time?
There's just kind of not too much going on the whole movie. It's just like Lucas Black's kind of a terrible driver, but he thinks he's good, and then he eventually gets good, and then he wins, and that's like his whole character arc.
I mean, it's like a sports movie in that way, right? Like, it's like a training montage. Like, there's even literally the training montage.
But yeah, I guess, I don't know, just after like Fast Five, like after even after the original, it's like there's definitely more going on than just like a guy racing another guy to get a girl, which is this entire movie. So it's probably just that. It didn't make me hate it or anything, but I was just like, it's like not too much is going on in this movie other than Lucas Black destroying everyone's car and then finally being good at the end.
There's something nice about the simplicity, I think.
No, yeah, it's not necessarily bad, but I prefer like a little bit more going on.
I like how whimsical it feels comparatively, like that we take like a very serious turn. Like you were talking about it before, Matt, that 4 feels like very serious tonally, compared, and like this one just is. It's like there's just like all of this like weird trippy lighting, and like the movie just breathes in weird ways, and I was like, oh man, I really miss that. And like I don't think we can ever get back to this point in the Fast and Furious, but I think that's why like
not.
Every time I rewatch Tokyo Drift, I'm like, oh man, I still really like this movie just for like where it is feeling wise like that.
There's like something great about just scenes that make no sense too, where it's like, why is he going to a Japanese school speaking zero Japanese? But they're just like, whatever, it's fine.
They just drop him into high school,
and then that's it. Yeah, it's like this man is not learning anything in this school. He knows like 3 words.
I have a question that I was going to ask, and I think that's as good of a transition as I can have into it. What do you think is more crazy? That Twinkie doesn't know the name of the Mona Lisa, or that Sean does? Because he describes it as that painting of the woman who smiles a lot, right? So, like, he's not saying, the Mona Lisa? So, like, he might be saying that for the audience's benefit, but, like, if we're taking it at face value, Twinkie does not know the name of the Mona Lisa, but Sean surprisingly does. Which of those 2 facts seems crazier? Which is harder to believe, that Twinkie does not know, or that Sean does know
it for sure?
He would know it. I think it's a complete setup. Yeah, it's a setup for the joke, and I think it's also a mild test to see how dumb Sean really is.
Wait, is Twinkie setting it up for the joke, or is it the movie setting it up for the audience?
No, I think Twinkie's setting it up for the joke, because he already did I'm only saying that because he did the toss him the Kleenexes, and he says, what are these for? He says, for when you blow your wad. So he's already established that he like sets up jokes like this. That's why I'm.
But I don't think it's a joke. I think he's he's like saying this car is so important It's like
That's fair,
it's as
but
beautiful and rare and valuable.
But just I feel like it's in the exact same tone of doing the Kleenex gag. He's just like a setup delivery guy. Like that's just how he operates.
Also, on that note, also weird to have like a cum joke for a 17-year-old.
Also weird, yeah. Very, very strange.
I mean, in like real life too, I can't imagine like the amount of people that would actually apply to has got to be astronomically low. I don't think hardly anyone, as much as they like cars, is coming inside the car just due to the racing.
Oh my god! Well, is it for the cars or is it for the women or is it for everything? Right? Like,
It didn't seem like it was phrased about the women to me. It seemed very car centric.
For me, this seems like it's for the women for Bow Wow, the cars for Sean, and then they're coalescing, saying that both of them are excited about this.
Both of them can use this
Yes.
Kleenex box.
because look, I don't know if either of them are going to blow their wad or whatever the phrase is, right? To either the cars or the women. But I think it's positionally like, look, these are your two favorite things.
Yes.
Girls and cars,
Yes.
and they're all in one place. And it's like
The
oh
best
my
of
God, but
both
still, like,
hoods.
even that's like, all right, cool. This place rules.
But I don't know. To me, I feel like the movie would make more sense if Sean has just no interest in women the whole time. So he's way more into the cars for sure.
Oh,
He's just like,
so
I
just
don't give
Neela
a
just
fuck about
doesn't. We just don't like. What would you
Yeah,
do
they-
with Neela? Is she necessary? Do you get rid of Neela, or do you like pivot some way?
I feel like she's necessary just to get DK pissed at him.
Okay,
But yeah,
fair.
outside of that, like, I wouldn't say that they really have great chemistry or anything in the movie.
No, definitely not.
At all.
Nope.
He's definitely got better chemistry with the cars. Although his expressions while he's driving are pretty amazing too. Though he's like, I'm not going to look cool I'm not going to do a Vin Diesel here and look cool while I'm driving a car. He's like, I'm going to look as like nervous and like stressed out as possible every time I'm racing.
And also, he
which
kinda
I actually do.
sucks
I
at
kind
it.
of love that. Oh yeah, he's really bad.
Like, he's good in America, in Shangri-La, and then when they get to Japan, like, he looks like, as these movies go on, none of these people are ever bad at anything. Like, this is one where he's just like,
Bad.
I suck
Yeah.
at this. Like, I'm bad.
Oh yeah. Which
And, like,
I
he gets-
which that was fun. Yeah.
Even Brian in the first one, like he's like not a good driver, but like he's okay. Like Sean sucks. Like he's just
He's
really
not
really
he's
bad.
not wrecking like 17 cars anytime he tries to do one race. Yeah.
Exactly.
And, like, even at the end, like, yeah, he makes it down the mountain and DK crashes, but also, like, the mountain is set up as, like, the real foe. Like, DK is the only one who's ever gotten down this. So, like, even though he's done it before, that doesn't mean he's going to be able to do it again, right? Like,
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
Sean didn't necessarily beat him. Like, the course beat him, right? So, like,
Yeah, exactly.
he might not really, I mean, he gets better at drifting, but, like, he might not still be good. Like, he just might be, like...
The way that scene is cut too, there's almost no way to even tell if he is good because it's so fast cutty compared to.
Do you like this, Matt? Do you like
a lot of
that?
stuff.
Do you like the it being transitioning between like camera phones,
cell phone stuff?
The cell phone stuff. Do you enjoy that, or are you like? How do you feel about this?
It's like visually kind of interesting.
Okay.
It makes absolutely no sense. Like there's no like how are they even hooked into everyone's cell phone to even see what's happening? So it's like it's another one that's like it's not rooted in anything even remotely realistic, especially with like flip phones.
Yeah.
But it's like their transitions are cool.
Okay.
I mean, in my like perfect Fast and Furious world, they would go like Death Proof style with a Fast and Furious and just go all real.
Okay.
They would never do this, but I would love to see that movie of just like, hey, the stunts are not going to be as crazy, but there's no CGI.
Well, there was something, I think it was on the Discord, Joe, maybe it was Wes or someone was recently saying something like that I'd watched. Like, the one special feature that I watched for any of these movies was, like, in Fast 5, they showed how they did the safe dragging scene. And,
Yeah.
like,
There's a lot of
that's
real
a lot of
stuff
CGI,
there.
but, like, a lot of it's also
Yeah.
practical. Like, it's cool because they actually did it, right? Or as opposed to...
But and yeah, and that's probably why Fast 5 is like super high up there for a lot of people.
Makes sense.
I feel like even in the newer ones that are so much CGI, there's still like they do a lot of stuff for real, but it's just cut in a way that you would never know that it was real. So-
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's it's like so fast cut that it's like unless you saw the behind the scenes of this really happening, it just kind of feels like it's fake.
Yeah. Yep. I can see that for sure. Yep.
what else about this movie, Matt? Anything else? Anything? Are there any characters? Because like they did bring back in 9. They brought back Earl and Twinkie and Sean for the 2 scenes or whatever. Is there anything else from this movie? Any like things they did with the camera, like the Justin Lin stuff that he brought to it, or characters, or things that you would want to see return? Or is this like, did they take the good part, which is Han, and like leave the rest behind? Like, is there stuff from this movie that they haven't brought back that you would want to see them bring back?
I think if they went back to Tokyo, it'd be sweet.
Oh yeah,
I
good
mean,
point.
yeah, they took Han like by far as the best part of the movie, so they certainly took the best part out and brought him into the next movies. I don't know. Yeah, any of the other characters, I don't know how. Like even bringing Sean back like doesn't really make any sense. So like I'm not sure how they could. Oh, I mean, I guess if they brought DK back in as like a villain, it just would be hilarious. And like, why are you doing this?
We've been talking about like people.
Idea.
We talk often about people that we would like to bring back, like side characters and stuff like that. And DK comes up a lot, and we're like, well, what if he's just like, like joins them, or what if he's just
you
like,
put DK in instead of Pete Davidson, and that scene would have been a lot better.
ah.
So this is me now.
He's just working at an internet cafe. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I imagine him. Like he has to be like just like a retired dude somewhere else, or like just like a dude just like having an odd job somewhere else. So yeah, if he got exiled from Japan.
In 9, when they go back to Tokyo to like look for clues for Han, like there's nothing really Tokyo about it, right? Like that's why they meet L, but it's just like we're here, but it's not like we don't
it's
get
like one set, yeah,
Shibuya Terminal or whatever. Yeah, it's just like it might as well be anywhere that like Han spent time, right? So
right,
returning to Ernest would be cool.
Yeah, if they like, I would love like a full-on lengthy action scene in Tokyo. It'd be fun. It's just Tokyo's like such a cool looking place that you kind of can't go wrong with it.
Is there another place they've not been to yet that you'd want to see them go?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or similar, the question we more often ask, is there an actor who's not in these movies already that you want to see them add? Either like a muscly dude or like just kind of cameo person or whoever.
Throw in like a Walton Goggins type character.
Ooh, yeah.
That'd be fun for like and like make him funny too. This dude's hilarious. To me, honestly, I think throw in anyone that is down to sort of get in the vibe of what a Fast and Furious movie is, and basically like not like Brie Larson from the last movie, because she can be great, but she is not great in that movie.
Well, what about like Ryan Reynolds and Hobbs and Shaw? I'm sure you loved him in that.
I honestly don't even remember Ryan Reynolds being in it.
He was in the diner. He was just acting as himself. He was just Ryan Reynolds.
Deadpool.
He was playing himself.
Yeah.
Okay. I sort of the only thing I remember about Hobbs and Shaw is just hating it. I can't say I remember anything else about it. But yeah, I don't know. There's like the way Momoa did Fast X, like bringing anyone, or even like John Cena, I thought was great in Fast X. That's like the kind of like, I don't know, just you have to understand what a Fast and Furious movie is and how stupid it is, and you need to overact and be ridiculous to make it fun.
Like the Momoa, like what Momoa did, because he like
Momoa was like Fast and Furious perfection in that movie. Yeah, it was awesome.
So as I'm watching, I'm still like, now that this movie is ultimately like forever intertwined with 9 now for me, right? Like I can't watch it and not think of both. And so when I was watching it this time, and you see like the original like Han's car crash, Han's car does kind of look empty.
Oh, it does. It does for sure. When it explodes, you do not see his body in it.
You do not see his body in it, which leads me to believe. Okay, so like, I don't know if we've talked about this or not. Maybe I just forgot, but I want to talk about it again. So if Mr. Nobody like does his magic and comes out of the car, does that mean that Shaw was working for Mr. Nobody and in on this plan? Or was Shaw actually just trying to kill Han?
I think Shaw was trying to kill Han. Otherwise, 7 makes no sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out too. But like, it feels weird, right?
Han's in the car when he gets hit, but then Mr. Nobody takes him out of the car before it explodes, right?
Yes. He does his magic.
Deckard still hits Han with the car trying to kill Han, and then Mr. Nobody does his magic. So I think if Mr. Nobody and Deckard are working together, 7 makes no sense. And also, like, I don't know.
10 makes no sense. Yeah. Because like, why would why would Han be mad at him? But it feels weird. I'm still on this like Matt. I have a theory that like Mr. Nobody's ultimately the really big bad. I was always thinking like Mr. Nobody was like actually behind getting them to do things for him that weren't necessarily good, and like he disappears in 9, and then you bring Brie Larson in, but like she kind of skirts over this. But like I'm still like, what if like Shaw was working for Mr. Nobody too, and that's part of the plan, going back and trying to retcon why is Shaw fighting with them, and this is just more part of Mr. Nobody's evil plans. But that's just my brain trying to make my theory work.
I feel like your brain has probably thought more in depth about this than anyone writing the movies.
We say that a lot. I don't think that they think about the movies as much as we do often.
Probably not.
I think we watch these now at a slow enough pace. Like we used to do, it started monthly and then it was every other week and now we're every third week. But I think as insane as that still is, and we're watching these movies like on average like almost twice a year, it's slow enough that I'm able to forget like sort of small scenes, like minor interactions between characters. And like especially in this one where like there's scenes where Sean's not in, and it's like DK and his crew or Han playing, you know, like the board game or the tiles game or whatever. I don't really have those scenes, like, not that I have everything memorized, but like I don't really have those like in me, and so like I'm able to like in a way kind of watch these for the first time, which is nice. Like if I don't know, it's strange. Also, there's enough movies now that we're looping through 11 as opposed to just 8 of them or whatever, and so
it makes it a little bit different.
We watch these movies more than like most people on the planet, and still
I've ever seen them. Yeah,
man, I'm learning new things about these movies. I'm forgetting things about these movies.
Joey, I have something that I want to present to you, and Matt, you can be included if you want to.
He's so generous, isn't he? So generous.
We played this game on High School Slumber Party when we did Twilight Forever, that we would have to buy something, and I have a question for you. Why have we never bought blue uwabaki to have as house shoes for ourselves? I looked them up. They sell them for cosplay. I found them. We have to do some sizing converts and stuff like that to find them, because they only obviously sell them in Japanese foot sizings, but they're like $30. Why don't we have blue uwabaki?
Yeah, I'm looking on eBay now. You can get them relatively inexpensively.
Yeah. Do you want to shake on it? Should we both get a pair of uwabaki to have?
No, I'm never going to wear a uwabaki.
In your house. So you don't wear your house shoes around. So you don't wear shoes in your house.
I don't wear shoes in my house already.
But whose fault is that, Joey? Because you don't have any. You need uwabaki.
It's true. When you, as an adult man, have to go back to high school in Japan, you're gonna need some of those.
You as a 40-year-old man going back to high school. You can bring your own. You'll be like, uwabaki, I got them. Either way, I'm gonna buy a pair of uwabaki. That was just a long story saying that I'm gonna buy a pair of uwabaki.
No, I like it. I think you should do that.
I'm going to. I'll take pictures of them.
Matt, do you have any other notes, any other thoughts about this movie? Because otherwise, we're going to run through the vehicles. There's a handful of different vehicles in this movie.
I
have a lot. But anything else that you want to say about this movie?
My only other note, but this is about one of the vehicles, is it was just funny to see. I imagine this movie came out like right around the time of the Hulk movie.
This came out in 2006, and the one, Ang Lee's Hulk came out in 2003. When was the other Hulk?
The first one, like the Incredible Hulk with what's his name?
Yeah.
It was 2003 and 2008, so this came out between the two Hulks.
I feel like it still has to have been, it's just such a weird, like, why does he have a Hulk car? It's so random.
Yeah, it's a choice.
Just having the rights to the Hulk. Yeah.
It's definitely a choice.
It makes no sense with his character at all.
Like, it makes sense later in which one, in 7, where The Rock or Hobbs is watching the Hulk in the hospital, because, like, look, he looks like his body is like Hulkish. Like, that makes sense.
Yes.
But here, just like, I don't know. Maybe they tried to get like, I think it's one of like 2 or 3 different things. Either they had access to this car and they're just like, this is a cool car, we want to put this in the movie, or they were trying to get clearance for like different kinds of like characters they could do, and like Marvel okayed it, but like, you know, say Pokemon could, like whatever, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean they had the rights to the Hulk for sure,
or they just thought it was
Universal.
Cool.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it's not cool. It's interesting, but yeah, that one I was just like, whoa, the fuck, it's so weird. I did not remember that.
Based on what we know of Craig Lieberman, I definitely think, Joey, I think your first one is probably more right. That I believe is that somebody had a Hulk car. They're like, these are the cars you can choose from. They're like, oh, that would look great in the movie, and then they're like, oh, who can we put that's like that's small enough to fit in here that kind of makes sense, and it's like, oh, Bow Wow.
I'm thinking of a scene that's playing, like a scene in real life that's playing out like the scene in 4 where Brian's assistant or whoever that woman's supposed to be playing is just like, there's this boring car, there's this boring car, there's this boring car, there's this car that's like tuned to the shit. It's just like, well, we got this boring car, we got this boring car, we got a car that looks like the Hulk, we got, like, hold on.
They're like, can I see pictures of that thing? They're like, yeah, we're definitely putting that in the movie. I agree.
That's definitely in the movie. Because, like, we just watched, and the episode is out now as you're listening to the main feed on the Patreon, or patrons, you'll get this in a couple days. But we just watched Every Which Way But Loose for Justin Kliman's pick. And we're like, that feels like, all right, we have access to a monkey. What could we do? It's like, we have access to a car that looks like the Hulk. What could we do? Well, I guess Twinkie could drive it. Like, he doesn't really need to do anything. Like, we don't need to, like, to drift with it, but, like, he can still drive it.
When you brought up Every Which Way But Loose, good. I'm glad. You're getting to my last note. Okay. Han says, when they're standing up, looking down at the Adidas futsal park, he says, do you remember those old cowboy movies? Is Han talking about Clint Eastwood cowboy movies or John Wayne cowboy movies?
Ooh.
Just because we just watched a Clint Eastwood movie, and I thought about it while I was watching it this time. What do you think he's... Because Han is old enough. Like, this is like, what is your Batman, right? Because he's talking to Sean, who's 17. So which do you remember those old cowboy...
This is like you're saying like the neighbor's conversation, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Batman?
Who's your Batman? Yeah.
Because I also think like if the Han character in Better Luck Tomorrow, who I think is he in high school in that movie? He's still just hanging out. I think he's in high school. Movie,
yeah, he's in high school.
But he's in high school. That's like 2002, 2003, right? So like, say he was born in like 84. Like those old cowboy movies, it could still be like 80s cowboy movie. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So what do you think he's talking about? Give me an answer. How are you feeling?
Probably Clint Eastwood, I would guess. I think John Wayne is the answer for people who like grew up with Clint. I don't know.
I would maybe go with John Wayne just because it's older. So if you're like, I don't know, like for me, if I was talking to someone that may or may not have seen cowboy movies involving one or two of those actors, the Clint Eastwood ones, I probably wouldn't refer to as those old cowboy movies. That would be like the John Wayne ones.
Okay.
Matt, you're forgetting this is a movie that describes the Mona Lisa as the painting of the woman who's like, that's the same level of description we're dealing with here.
When they wrote that line, they probably didn't even have a specific one in mind. They're just like, cowboy movies, that shit's old, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think like what also like works about like the Western genre and tropes or whatever is that like they're all just playing like an archetype, right? Like those old cowboy movies could be any movie. They're all just like exactly. It leaves it up to you like who you're picturing.
I'm thinking though, for me, I was thinking that Han was talking about John Wayne movies and that Lucas Black pictured.
Man, I want Lewis Black.
yeah.
That would be awesome.
Angry
17-year-old high school. I think that Sean was thinking about Clint Eastwood movies. He was like, yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. And he was like John Wayne. And he's like Clint Eastwood? Like, I think they would have had like that moment if they would have kept that conversation going.
I hear what you're saying, but now all I'm thinking about is Lewis Black yelling about 9/11 in Japan, and that's all I can think about now. But you know,
talking of Lewis Black, Joe Pesci. I don't know if he acts anymore. Probably not, but he'd be great in the Fast and Furious.
Oh, what kind of character do you want him to play?
Just like a really nice guy,
a really sweet guy.
Yeah, just like a really sweet old man. Just like be like, hey, let's change it up. Let's have Joe Pesci play a character where he's not going to yell.
That would be amazing.
I feel like Joe Pesci. Have they ever showed like they never showed Brian's parents or grandparents?
I know nothing about Brian's family.
Joe Pesci related to Brian.
I was thinking, what if Rita Moreno's husband was Joe Pesci? Like Abuelito is just Joe Pesci. Like it's just an old Italian man and an old.
That'd be pretty sweet. Yeah.
No, that tracks too much. I like Matt's thinking because him being Brian's dad or grandfather makes a lot more sense because you see Paul Walker and then you see Joe Pesci. The Joe Pesci Rita Moreno mix to make like in lineage of Vin Diesel makes actual sense. Yeah. Like you'd be like, I can see it. That kind of works.
Joe Pesci is just like watching the kids.
Yeah, now that Mia, so now you're taking the one thing that Mia still is able to do away from her. Well, Jordan, I'm so sorry, but we got Joe Pesci, and like it's just really funny if he's with the kids. So like Just not be in this movie?
Look, you were not in Home Alone. Sorry, Jordana.
You were
So
not my cousin Vinny. I'm so
exactly.
sorry. All right, Joe, let's run through. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 different, including a couple that are sort of variations on the same kind
Do
of
you want
thing.
to go
But I have
back and
7
forth,
different non-cars.
or what do you want to do? Tell me.
Let's just go chronologically. Maybe
Okay.
the first one that I have is the airplane they take to Japan.
Wrong. Wrong off the rip.
What's before it? What's before it? What's before it?
Skateboard
Oh.
in the opening credit scene. Some kid has a skateboard
I was
into
watching the
school.
opening. I must have missed that.
And
But yeah, 'cause, like,
and I would consider school bus an alternate vehicle.
I thought about that,
It's
but I
big
wasn't
yellow
sure.
one, so that's a debatable one. But yes, those two first. Then Plain
yellow
Sean
car.
is on.
There's the subway he takes to school.
Yep, bicycle before that,
And bicycles
but
outside
there's
school.
bicycles everywhere.
When they, in the Hulk car, get to the parking garage,
Yes.
there is a 3-wheeled motorcycle.
I
one
have
of those
those
wide things that we just
that you, like,
saw,
sit
leaving
in.
the garage as they pull
Yeah,
in.
there's like 2 or 3 of those. Yep, I got those.
Later, after they blow by the cops doing 197 kilometers an hour, as they like enter that kind of back alley,
ahead.
there's a guy like a delivery guy on a motorbike.
Moped. Yeah, I have moped. It was that
Moped,
guy.
mhm.
Yeah,
There's a chopper in Han's
the
garage.
Nos, the Nosmobile. That one you're talking about, the one with the 2 Nos tanks, right? That's your okay, cool. Yep.
And the only other one that I have is that in the scene where the fishermen
Go
are
ahead.
there and Sean's doing his drifting practice, there's like cruise liners in the background.
Boats in the background. I have
Yeah.
what I think might be 2 more, 1 unconfirmed.
Okay.
Same place on the docks. There's some like forklifts or pallet movers.
Sure. Okay.
There's those, and possibly I could never confirm it, but it looks like there's like loading and unloading cranes there. And I don't know if they move. I don't know if they're.
Well, so now this is the thing, like forklifts, like we were doing street, like I guess because we talked about like street sweepers in every which way, like you're not using these to get from place to place. They're serving a purpose, right?
Hey, they told us the
hard,
definition
but-
of vehicle is a thing that's self-propelled.
It's getting from one side of the factory to the other side, so I
true.
feel like
That's a
it
good
counts.
point.
Yeah.
Matt, before we play the Twitter game, are you ready to find out which Fast and Furious character you are?
Yes.
I don't know if I told you this, but we built a quiz. We found a quiz online
No,
years
I
ago.
did
We're
not
like,
know.
this sucks. And we built one. So there's 7 multiple choice questions, 6 answers per question. There are 20, I think, or 25, I think, different possible outcomes. You can explain your answers or not, keep it mystery, whatever you want to do. But 7 questions, 6 answers per question. Are you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Question number 1, Matt, how fast are you? Are you NASCAR, roller coaster, Lamborghini Murcielago, Toyota Prius, Vespa, or Razor scooter?
So is that in how fast am I? Is this like as a human, or is this
However you want to
like,
interpret the question,
Yeah.
there's no wrong answers.
I'll go roller coaster.
Question number 2, you know it's coming. How furious are you? The Hulk, Kylo Ren, Christian Bale on that one movie set that one time, Mel Gibson, Charlie Brown, or Jack McBrayer?
Oh man. I'm gonna go Christian Bale.
Okay.
I don't know that this might just be because that's the funniest one, but
That's
I don't know
okay.
if that's really true.
Totally
but-
fair.
We didn't really talk about, like, we could update that one to Tom Cruise on that one movie set that one time as well. 'Cause
Oh,
it's the
yeah,
same
with
thing. It's
the,
like they're
on
not
Mission Impossible,
traditionally
yeah.
angry people, but like, do your fucking job.
I mean the Christian Bale one, it is funny, but it's like he's got a point too. It's
He
really
does have a
annoying.
point. Yeah, so did Tom Cruise. Just like, wear your mask. We're
Yeah,
here. Like, this is
yeah.
serious. Question number 3, Matt, we're having a barbecue. How are you helping? Are you on the grill? Are you saying grace? Are you kicking back with a beer? Are you babysitting? Are you being the entertainment? Or are you sneaking a snack?
Sneaking a snack for sure.
You've got time to kill. What are you doing? Are you grabbing a bite, working in your car, hanging with friends, drinking a beer, working out, or doing some work on your computer?
Realistically, probably doing some work on my computer.
Okay.
Matt, describe your wedding. I'm never getting married. It's just me and my partner. It's us and our families. It's a backyard country affair. Everyone I know is there. I don't remember.
I don't remember as good, but I'm gonna go with never getting married.
Okay. You just won the lottery. Congratulations. What are you buying? Your own garage, a private plane, I'm gambling it all away, my childhood home, a fleet of cars, or a new life.
Private Plane for sure on that one.
Oh, nice.
What is your drink of choice? Final question to determine it all. Belgian ale, Corona, something fruity, water, whatever's cheapest, or just Joe's going to the bar, get me one of whatever you're having.
I'll go with something fruity, probably.
Oh, I think you
That's
changed it
probably
at
the
the end
realistic
there.
choice for me.
He did not,
Okay.
but the Private Plane for sure slam dunked him. Matt, you are Roman Pierce.
I'm cool with that.
The world might see you as a joker, but you know the truth. You're a double alpha who just knows how to have a good time. You use humor to put others at ease, but you've got more going on in your head than most people give you credit for, even if your mouth does get you into trouble from time to time. You're loyal to a fault, and you know your family needs you despite what their jokes might say. And you drive like the wind blows.
Nice. It's honestly, it's not too far off. I'm very cool with that.
Okay, so this is exciting. That's the first Roman we've got since Brian Rodriguez took it years ago. Like I didn't really remember.
I didn't remember that either.
Before,
yeah.
But like it's been a long time since we got Roman. And Roman has what's the odds? There's an 8% chance to get a Roman, so it's not rare. It just doesn't usually work out. So you are
nice. What's like the most? Who are
Dom
most
is like a 13%. Like most, a lot of people are Dom. A lot of people are Mr. Nobody.
Mias. We get a lot of Mias.
Kind of weird and mysterious. There's a smattering of like people if they're like really kind of techie, like on computer stuff. It becomes like Ramsey or whatever.
Tej, Ramsey.
Yeah.
Roman, we literally haven't had it in. Brian was like maybe the first person who wasn't us to take this quiz. So
since
we've
then
given this quiz
yeah.
to like 65 people since then, and no one's gotten Roman until you.
Fuck yeah.
I also do think that, like, based on the summary, like, people look at you like, look at this guy with this pink hair. It's just like, oh no, actually, he's smart. Like, he's not just like a joker.
You know, I've got some smart stuff. I've gotten into trouble with my mouth. I drive like the wind. I think it's pretty spot on.
You were driving like the wind on that jet ski.
Yeah, it's true.
The final thing to do before we say goodbye is this ain't no 10-second race, aka boy do we have a podcast for you.
Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Come and check out our show. Yeah.
This is where we go on X.com, aka the X app, and find any tweet from anybody who's talking about these movies and see what they're saying. We respond to them and see if they get to respond to us. So I found Kevin Wozniak at KevFlix, who said in the Fast and Furious franchise, they brought back Letty, Han, Giselle, and a slew of other characters, but when are they going to bring back Leon? And we said, we ask this all the time. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Now, what I don't understand is I actually don't know. Mr. Tweet changed this so that you can't click on, like, it used to say like one like, you used to be able to click on that. Let me see if I can do this on mobile, because I don't know if I can, like, it got a like, but I don't think it was from that person.
Huh.
Hold on. Let me see.
Is this a paid thing now? It seems like it is. It seems because there's like an analytics button.
Might be.
God.
Oh no.
Oh wait, hold on. No, I can on mobile. You can do it. So Rob Denton, who
so he
follows
fixed
us,
it. So now you
liked
can only see it on one iteration of the platform.
So now what I have to do is I'm bookmarking our tweets on desktop, then finding the bookmarks on mobile.
That makes this is exactly how it was intended to work.
Great UX, man. Thanks, Mr. Tweet.
Oh god.
I also found, I played for charity. This was not my real one. The real one was the one I just did. But I also found Dottie at XOXTBZ. I just finished my Fast and Furious marathon, and Fast 10 really finished on a cliffhanger. Grr. But when Han sees Giselle alive, it's going to be so crying into a pool of tears emoji. And we said, we're not emotionally ready for it. Girl, do we have a podcast for you? Because we were in the Chrissy Shackelford
we
era.
were, yeah.
And it got a like, but it was also from Rob Denton, so I went over 2. Sorry, Charity. Joe, you found Ray at Raven, who said, Fast X was beautiful. Like, wow. If you know me, then you know I'm a big Fast and Furious fan. And we said, what's your favorite part from the Fast and Furious? Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Joe was like, we're going to try to go real, just like respond, give us an answer. Didn't even get a like. Bob didn't even like it.
God damn, dude. Okay.
Swing and a miss.
Okay.
And then Chrissy, our guest last episode, found Cosmic Glitter Kitten at evil_Liz. My theory for how the Fast and Furious movies end: this guy survived the first one and is behind everything. Skull emoji. And it's a picture of Jesse from the first movie. And we said, we love the way your brain works. Girl, do we have a podcast for you. Joe, it got 4 likes. Chrissy liked it herself because, of course, she did. Rob Denton liked it. Emily, Fast Saga FR, the
account that I found before.
You found her. She liked it. But also, Chrissy gets a point because Cosmic Glitter Kitten also liked it. So Chrissy gets 1
on the board.
Point. Very exciting stuff. Shout out to her.
That one got traction.
Okay.
Jeez.
God, I hate this game now.
Sorry.
I hate how much more work it is. And it's not your fault. It's Mr. Tweet's fault. Joe, please hit us with yours.
Mine's from Shamart at Shamart TM. Shamart says, friend.
Oh, this is a response to a previous tweet.
Yes.
Okay.
Jazz said, I miss when this movie was about racing, quote tweeting the Fast X poster. And Shamart says, friend, as the biggest Fast and Furious fan you'll probably ever meet, I have to tell you that this franchise was never about racing. Aside from Tokyo Drift, racing was just a sideshow. The main plot of the movies were always about catching bad guys. I'd say we agree. And sometimes being bad guys as well. Who's your favorite bad guy, Shamar? Boy, do we have a podcast for you. I'm trying questions now, Matt, because nobody responds to me anyway.
I feel like I put in his name, but it felt like it was like an email mail merge or something. It's just like, hey, at Shamart TM, what's your favorite bad guy?
Hey, insert name here.
I'm gonna say, who's your favorite not bad boy, bad
that's different connotation.
All right, Matt, can you please read who your tweet is sent by? I think yours is also a reply to something.
Yeah, mine's like a multi. It's so I was gonna read there's like a couple of responses here. So it starts off from Toyfu 332 saying, me and the guys watching the latest Fast and Furious movie. And then it is a GIF from Star Trek where Picard and Riker are saying, what the fuck is happening right now?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then the response to that is, I feel like if you're not asking that during a Fast and Furious movie at least 6 times, then it's not a good Fast and Furious movie.
Okay, fair.
And then, but after that, Toyfu responds with, my friend Ralph, not on Twitter, and who could blame him, often challenges people who've never seen one to watch the first film, then the latest film, then try to work out what happened in between.
Oh.
And then after that, he's, which I thought was pretty great.
Yes.
And then after that, he's like, okay, so they started out as a gang of street racers planning to steal DVD players, and now they've been contracted by the NSA to locate stolen nuclear weapons on the moon, which they drove to.
And then Neil responds a couple more times. So which of these tweets do you, because we like and retweet and reply to one. So there's, I think the one that I would pick is that quote, the on the moon, the one that you just read. I think we should.
Yeah, I would say that one too. Yeah.
And then we're going to respond. How do you want to customize this message? We're going to end it with, boy, do we have a podcast for you. Or should we say, toy, do we have a podcast for you?
Oh, I like that one.
Toy, do we have a podcast for you? It's great. You got to end it like that for sure. And oh man,
we really like this idea. Maybe we'll try it sometime on our podcast. That's what I would have done. But you don't have to take that. That was my thing, because I'm trying to convince Joey that like we actually should try that one time. We should make someone watch the first one and the last one and be like, what do you think happened in between?
It'd be pretty entertaining, I think. I don't know. I feel like just be like, "What's up, Toy? We're totally stealing this idea. Toy, do we have a podcast for you?" I don't know, something along the lines of
I'll say we're totally. This is a great idea. Toy, do we have a podcast for you?
Yeah.
So I found Andrew Hodge at Andrew Hodge on Twitter, spelled differently, but sure, whatever. Quote tweeting, so there's something, this is from last May, so it's probably not going to work because it's a year and a half old. But New York Times Arts, at NY Times Arts, said, a man in a wheelchair faked a disability to get close to the Mona Lisa before tossing a pastry at the glass, protecting the painting, officials said. So Andrew Hodge quote tweets that and says, the Mona Lisa got messed up a little bit, but it's all good. Just like Romans and Fast and Furious Supercharged on the studio tour at Uni Studios, at Tyrese, at the Fast Saga. And I was gonna say, like, I thought he was trying to, like, I searched Mona Lisa Fast and Furious, I thought he was talking about the car, but he's talking about a different car. I'm just say, or like the actual Mona Lisa car in the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. But while I was looking for this, and I'm sure that a bunch of accounts do this, like, those kind of like meme joke accounts or whatever. But I searched, like I said, Fast and Furious Mona Lisa, and there's a Twitter account, Inspector Ratchet @
I like that name. Go ahead.
Hood _ Mona _ Lisa. So Hood Mona Lisa. Inspector
Amazing.
Ratchet.
Okay.
3 times in the last year has tweeted almost the exact same thing and has gotten mini viral, like 30 retweets and 130 reply or likes.
That's nothing,
each
but
time.
okay, yeah.
But but she keeps doing it to like buzz numbers. But she keeps saying the same thing. The Fast and Furious movie franchise was written by 2 cases of Monster Energy drink and a tribal armband tattoo. Like, it's not even like creative, but she keeps putting it out there, and people are like, "Girl,
we still like this." She's like, it's gonna catch
this.
it one day, and she's not deleting the old ones either. She just keeps. You see all of them.
And the only reason it popped up is because it's her name has Mona Lisa in it, and Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
But I was just like, but if you, because there's not a lot of tweets about this, and her 3 are literally in a row in the search results. I'm like, girl, come on, like cover your tracks or something.
That's what I said. You got to delete the old ones
up.
at least. Yeah. One day, Mona Lisa, it'll work. You'll be on a BuzzFeed top 10 tweets about Fast and the Furious article or something.
So I'm saying, or ... like Han's car, the Mona Lisa in Tokyo Drift. If you think F&F when you read news stories, boy, do we have a podcast for you.
Perfect.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us, for talking about this movie, for
thanks.
enlightening me
Thanks for
onto
having me
your... I think our movie tastes are more aligned now than I thought before, now that I know that you kind of love some of these.
It's probably the least of this many movies that I have not just hated that you've loved. So yeah.
Where can people find you if they want to find you? What do you have going on? I know that you were running a Kickstarter Indiegogo for a while. I'm not sure if that's still going on or not, because I think it had ended by the time we did 1999.
It's ended, yeah.
You're working on a new movie. What can people find of your existing work? How can they help with the new work? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, over on Instagram is probably where I am the most. It's just my name, Matt Stuertz, and it's Matt the usual way, and Stuertz. That's probably where I post about stuff the most. And then if you want to watch any of my movies, they're pretty much available anywhere. I don't know, just look me up on IMDb and then look at any site where you can watch movies, and they're there. But yeah, if you like horror films or stuff that gets gross and weird, that's probably the target audience for most of my shit.
I was looking up your movies today, Matt, and I was like looking at one of them, and I was like, Matt made a movie called Rear Wheel Drive. This is so cool. Sorry, I had to save that joke when I thought it. I was like, oh man.
Here's the thing. It's dipped a little bit, and I don't mean to offend Matt, but there was one point where Matt's movie Tonight She Comes, which is one of the most disgusting movies I've ever seen, had almost an equal split from 1/2 star to 5 stars on Letterboxd.
Oh, that's
so it was
amazing.
like a straight line.
Yeah.
Since I last looked, there's fewer 5 stars and 4.5 stars, but it's mostly on the left side. But like it is worth seeing. But there is one person who has this movie in their top 4 favorite films of all time.
No way. That's
It's
awesome. That's a big
Finn horror.
That's super cool, Matt.
And Tonight She Comes is
That's
Finn
rad.
Horror's number 3. Number 2 is a movie I don't know called Hide and Creep, a movie about zombies and other threats to national security. So sure, okay. Number 4 is Moneyball,
Wild.
which
Okay.
does not feel like a
that is
movie that
interesting,
like.
yeah.
And then the first one is A Town Called Panic, which I don't know what this is either. It looks like a claymation something or other.
Yeah, that was at like a film festival a couple of years ago, I think.
It looks like these are kind of like 3, like this person is like, hey, here's 3 smaller movies that I think like I really love and I'm trying to champion. And also Moneyball. Like, I love Moneyball. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Moneyball's awesome, but like Moneyball sticks out in this top 4 like a sore thumb.
Absolutely.
Which is just wild.
Yeah. That's awesome, though.
I'll take being on a top 4.
Amen.
With, Moneyball
You should. That's a
stuff.
huge compliment. You know how hard it is? We watch some of these movies, and Joey's like, yeah, this was in like 2 top 4s. And it's like a huge, crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Matt's on Letterboxd. All right, Joe, knowing Matt for the last hour or so, hour and a half, his top 4 are all horror movies.
I'm sure I can't get any of them.
One's a horror comedy. One's one of the most famous horror
Shaun
movies.
of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, number 1.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
One is one of the most famous horror movies of all time where its sequel is an action movie. We've had this a lot in the top 4.
Its sequel's an action movie?
Mm-hmm. And it's the start of a franchise.
What is it? Fuck, that now sounds familiar, but I can't think of it. What is it?
Alien.
Ah,
It's a sci-fi
fuck,
also.
Yes. We do get that. Okay, go ahead.
Number 2, I don't think you're going to know, but it's a movie that came out in the 2000s that was set in the 80s and looks like it's from the 80s. It's one of my all-time favorite horror movies.
What is it?
The House of the Devil.
Okay.
And number 3, I don't think you're going to get this, but someone wrote a story with this in the title called Kanye West, this movie title. It's another horror movie, kind of a sci-fi horror movie. But I don't know, because when you were like super, I mean, you're still kind of into Kanye, regrettably, maybe. But when you were...
I find him fascinating. Still.
Before he was like really super canceled, someone wrote a short story, like an actual, I have it somewhere, called Kanye West, name of this movie. And it's basically what if Kanye was the main character in this movie?
Oh, I don't know. What is it?
Reanimator.
Oh, fun.
Matt, do you know about Kanye West Reanimator?
No, I never. I'm kind of curious now, though.
Oh, and the backstory of that, Matt, is that we often play this game where we find somebody that has the movie that we watched in their top 4, and then I try to guess the other movies. So,
well, Joe, our next episode is The Bullet Train from 1975. Resident Story Mike Manzi's going to be on that episode to talk with us about that. Then we got a Life in the Fast Lane and then Furious 7, so the normal stuff after that. But the next pit stop is The Bullet Train from 1975, which is on a bunch of... Or it's on, hold on, because Mike asked where it was.
Tubi,
it's somewhere accessible.
Freebie.
Tubi. It's on Tubi. Yeah, okay. Tubi with ads for free.
Awesome.
Can't rent it, but you can watch it for free with ads. And I collected it and it looks like the right movie. So
makes sense.
Sure, whatever. Also, on Monday, yesterday, as you're listening on the main feed, or this upcoming Monday, if you're a patron on our Patreon, toofast2forever.com, we have Every Which Way But Loose, which was Justin Kleinman's pick. So that is coming out for you patrons in a couple days. So get excited for that. And also, speaking of them, shout out to Cassie Wilson, Nick Burris, Alex Ellen, and Justin Kleinman, and Brian Rodriguez of High School Slumber Party, Wes Hampton, Jerry Robinson, Dan the Duke, Hayden Renato, D. Donato, Michael McGann, Lane Middleton, Lindsay Lewandowski, Nate Milton of the Kings of Sports, Jason Rainey, Tom Price, Mike Galler, Josh Buckley of Whole Lot of Wolves, Michael Moser, Christian Larson, Taryn New One, Aaron Willozen, Natalie Absolute, and Jessica Collins, a.k.a. Montez. Thank you all for supporting us at the $5 a month level or above. If you want bonus episodes like Airplane, which we did recently, like the Barkley Marathons, which we did recently, like Every Which Way But Loose, which we did recently, and a bunch more coming up this lap, toofast2forever.com gets you in the door from just $1 a month. And once again, Matt, thank you so much.
It was great talking to you, bud.
Hell yeah. Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
For all things Too Fast, Too Forever, go to cageclub.me, facebook.com/toofast2forever, or at toofast2forever on Twitter or X, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, wherever. Email us, family@cageclub.me. Check out our Patreon page at toofast2forever.com and our store at cageclub.me/shop, and come back next week after you watch on Tubi The Bullet Train, which is supposedly awesome. I've not seen it, but it's a Japanese movie, and I'm very excited to see it for the first time.
Cool.
I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe, too.
And that was Matt Stuertz, and we will tell you all about it
when we see you again.